Okay, let's take a look at the initial load method. For the initial load, you need to have a parameter file for the initial load extract. I have created the initial load parameter file for the EMP and department tables. These two tables I am going to do the initial load using GoldenGate method. So I have to create the replicate parameter file on the target. Okay, so here I am going to do the initial load for these two tables. So here is my mappings for the replicate. So initial load, we need to add the initial load extract. While adding the initial load extract, we have to say source is table for the extract, because extract is going to take the data from the table, not from the log file. It captures the data from the table space and directly send it to the replicate. So replicate will apply the changes to the target. We need to start the extract. That's it. It is going to start the replicate automatically, because we have to specify the replicate name in the extract parameter file. So if you look at extract parameter file, here we say replicate remote task is replicate and the group name is replicate name. The extract is going to automatically capture and start the replicate to replicate. Okay, so once it is done, it is going to stop automatically. We don't need to stop it. There are some prerequisites before doing the initial load. The tables, employee table and dependent table, it is going to load the data. So you need to disable the foreign keys, and you need to delete all that data from the target tables. And it's better to remove the index, because index might slow down the initial load, but that doesn't append the initial load process, but it will definitely slow down. So but it will append if you have primary foreign key constraints on the target tables. We need to disable the foreign keys constraints on the target tables. I already removed the data on the target. As you can see, there is no data on the target. All I need to do is just disable the foreign constraints. Okay, so I have the script to disable the foreign constraints. Let's take a look at. So I disabled the foreign constraints. Let's take a look at it looks like this is primary key constraint, foreign keys. Yes, you can see they are disabled. Okay, all right, now we are good to go for the initial load. Okay, so in the initial load we are going to load these two tables. Okay, the extract is going to automatically start the replicate ggil04g4 and dump the data into the target tables. Okay, there is no trail files, and the initial load extract is not going to read from transaction log files. These are the couple of two things you need to remember. I have created the parameter file. let's go ahead and add it. ggil04g4 source is table. Okay, you need to say extract. Interesting. All right, so info all, if you say info all, you don't see that initial load process. In order to see all the processes, you have to say info all processes. That way you can see the initial load extract is added, but right now it is in stopped status. Okay, let's go to replicate side. We need to just add the replicate there. So then we have to say special run. Okay, we added. Now let's say, okay, so we confirm that it is added. Now let's start it. It looks like it is stopped. Did it do anything? Let's take a look at the, because the records are very low. It dumped all the rows. So up to 1503. Here on the source, it is still dumping the data. Okay, our load script is just going on. Target is 1503, and let us see what is the source record. 1507. Okay, initial load processed up to 1503 record, so we have to continue from 1504. So now so if you look into the checkpoint, okay, it stopped at this date. So we need to start the change replication, the change data capture extract to start from this time. Okay, let us see if that is what the document says. Okay, all right. This is the checkpoint to start. It doesn't say the LSM because it doesn't go through the log. So now we need to start from this time. Okay, so we have to say begin that time, alter. Okay, all right. So now let's alter the info all. Okay, our standard change data capture extract is running. Let us stop it. We have to do that for two extracts because this extract contains employee table, and this extract is for department table. So our initial load loaded for both tables. We need to start the extracts, which are extract that has that initial load tables. So these two extracts are affected. Okay, so we are starting these two extract to start from this this time. Since we stopped it, it should typically create a new file. Let us take a look at info sequence number 4 for the second one, sequence number 0. Okay, 4 and 0. It started writing from 5. Similarly, see, it was 0. Okay, now it started creating the sequence number 1 file. So basically, after we restarted, it created both extracts, created new files. We don't need to roll over them because it doesn't use the same. I was just wondering whether it uses the rollover of the same file. If it uses same file to dump the data, then again I have to stop it, alter it, and roll over it and start it. So good that every time when we stop and start gracefully, it rolls over. Okay, so now we have a new sequence number. So for the GGEC01G1 extract, I think employee table, it created sequence number 5. We can take a look at that. So okay, these two are the files. Okay, so now I think G1 is employee table. So let's take a look at the G1 file from the log dump. The first record, it starts from 1501. Okay, you can see that number here, 1501. So now we have records in target up to 1500, but in the trail file we started capturing from 1501. So now we don't need to handle the collisions. We can just give the trail file and run it. It's going to replicate fine without any collisions. This is one method again. Okay, so another method is, you can just start running the extract, change capture extract, before proceeding the initial load, and after that you can apply that with handle collisions. Okay, that is method number 2. But here what I am trying to do is, I just wanted to exactly start from where it left off. So now this extract starts from 1501. Now when I replay these transactions on the target, it should work fine without any collisions. Both extracts are running fine. Now let's take a look at what is the status of the pump. Pump might be reading from the previous sequence numbers. Okay, I need pump to start reading. Okay, employee pump to start reading from this file, and department pump to start reading from this file instead of previous files. So I have to first check what is the checkpoints. So checkpoint says it will start reading from this sequence number 4. Now this is not good, then it might pull some other records in the sequence number 4. Since we are playing with this files, so we know the first pump should start reading from sequence number 5. So for that, read from sequence number 5 from RBA 0, and also roll over the target remote trail file. Do the same for the pump, but pump sequence number is 1. Check it, what's the value. Definitely the sequence number will be 0 for the pump 2. Yeah, the current sequence number is 0. That means it will start reading the data from this file. No, we want to read from this file because this is where we started capturing for this example. So that's why we need this command. Okay, so we are repositioning the department pump to read from this file. Okay, same way, create a new file, roll the file on the remote trail on the target side. Okay, so what is the status of both pumps? So let's start PC01G1. Both pumps are running. Now let's see what is the checkpoint of current checkpoint is number 2 here. This is 1G. 1G is 3. So we have to start reading from 3 because we said ET rollover on the source side. So our pump has created from started creating the sequence number 3 for this example. We don't want to keep reading the old data and mess up with that. So now we have to change the sequence number. Here again issue GGRC01G1 3. Okay, we can say start GGRC01G1. Okay, now it should work fine. It's running. Okay, similarly we have to do the same thing for department pump, or sorry, department replicate. Okay, so department replicate, it says current checkpoint is number 3. One G. Oh, what did it do? Oh, on this. Show CH. This is the department replicate. Its sequence number is 1. But for this example, we started working with sequence number 2. So now we have to modify the replicate to start working from sequence number 2 from the beginning of the file. Let's start okay, so now both are running, there is no lag, and I think all the records should be synchronized. Let's take a look at target table. Okay, the last value is 1669. Here the last value is 1673. Okay, there is slight lag. 1673. Okay, it caught up. Okay, 1675. Alrighty, now let's take a look at the department table. Okay, department table has 2 records. Definitely it must have synchronized that. Okay, alright, now Now you can enable the foreign keys. Okay, you can stop the replicate and enable the foreign keys, or so to enable the foreign keys, all you have to say check. That's it. Constant table. Now I enabled all the foreign keys. Now you can see is disabled is 0. This is how you enable and disable. Now whatever the data, but again there is a possibility that if employee record comes before the department, then it might fail. So there is a chance. Okay, we will look into that foreign keys disabling, or not for application, the check constraint and triggers. There are how to deal with constraints later. Okay, but for this demo, initial load. In initial load, there are two methods. Again, in initial load, first method we looked at what time the initial load stopped, and we started from that checkpoint, from that date. That way we did not need to do the handle collision. We did not need to deal with handle collision. Now another method is pretty straightforward. Okay, first you start capturing change data capture. Okay, start capturing the transactions. Okay, after few minutes you can run the initial load to sync the data from source to target. After the initial load, you can start replicating the changes, whatever you captured, the change capture extract output, the trail files. You can just pump it to the target to replicate it on the target side. Okay, so you might see some data overlap, some collisions there. So again, put the no handle collisions there. Okay, so if you put the handle collision, then it's going to ignore whatever not record not found or duplicate errors and continue with it. Okay, after some time it's going to caught up and you can remove the handle collision. Okay, this is pretty straightforward, but if you don't want to handle the collisions, then this is the way. What I just did is that you don't want to handle the collision. That is one method. So next method is again I will do the initial load, but I'll put the handle collision and do the second methodology. Okay, so let's write it down what we have done. In the method 1, what we have done, add trend data to the tables, do the initial load, and capture the date time the initial load stopped. Now start the extract from this date and time. Start capture and start pump replicate. Okay, this is method number 1. Method 2 is add trend data to the tables. That we already did that. Once we did that, once we add it, so we don't need to add again. So I'm just writing it here, but okay, set up the change capture, start extract, okay. So extract will start creating trail files. Okay, after that do initial load. Now start pump. Handle collisions in the replicate parameter file. Start replicates. Okay. After caught up, so far we have done method number 1. We don't want to handle the collision. Okay, so now we are going to look into the method number 2.